We'll start with diaphragm release here, diaphragmatic release. And we'll bring our fists into our abdomen, just below our ribs here in our embryo pose. So our fists are pressing in and up into our diaphragm as we do this. So you can just let your upper body soften around your legs here. And we'll just work to breathe into our abdomen, feeling our diaphragm expand as we inhale and contract as we exhale. If you want to think about it, pressing in, we inhale, and then as we exhale, it relaxes. Then just start to notice if there's any tension in that surface layer of fascia, of connective tissue. Try to keep your tongue relaxed here. Just behind our upper teeth. And so we can meditate on the stomach pathway here. As it begins below our lower eyes, so it travels down the front of our face and into the front of our neck through our sternocleidomastoid, that really sinewy, ropey muscle that attaches our clavicle to the base of our skull. And then stomach tissue traveling down the chest, down the mammary line. So maybe feeling that the chest here as we're resting over the tops of our legs. And then the stomach's on the left side, right underneath those lower ribs. And the spleen sits just on top of it. And then on the right side sits our liver. Just keep breathing, lifting space into any tension that you might find here. Trying to massage the organs. Smooth and even. You might even pause in between the inhalation and the exhalation, like hold the breath out. Let the organs soften, the liver, the diaphragm. And the diaphragm's a muscle, but let its attachment to our organs help them release any tension. And just remembering that tension in the organs affects their myofascial pathways, their meridians, in the same way that tension along the meridians, along the myofascial pathways, affects the organs. So everything's connected. Just kneading it out in there. You might even bring your fists up into your diaphragm and kind of tuck your fingers up under your ribs. Just sense that connection, feeling the organs, the heart, the lungs, the spleen, the liver, the pericardium. And then we'll come into all fours. So back into connection with the stomach pathway, with the front body. Stomach meridian beginning under our lower eyes, traveling down the entire front body, holding the stomach in place, a little net, and then it travels down through the quadriceps, the fronts of our calves, our shins, and into our second toes. So as we come into cat-cow, as we exhale, we can find compression, we can find some heat, pulling the navel up and in. And as we inhale, we can soften. And keeping the tongue gentle. Try to relax the belly. Breathe into the belly on the cow. And then really squeeze and pull the navel to spine on the cat. And keep your toes tucked under here. Meditate on the second toes. This long line of connective tissue. And then we could check in on the spread of our fingers. Press in through our wrists and lift ourselves up into our down dog now. And then engage the quadriceps, lift the heels, strengthen the pathway, like lift the knees, engage the quads. And then settle back into breathing to make connection with the organs again. Through our diaphragm. So diaphragm, like this beautiful pump, this pulse of energy that relaxes our organs. And then spread the toes, really lift the hips high. You can
Find just a little more space along the back body, from the bottoms of our feet up to the crown of our head, into our inner eyes, as we trace the bladder pathway. We'll walk our hands back to our feet for a forward fold, resting our upper body on our legs. And then just some gentle opening for the backs of the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, bend the knees, round the spine. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, back, Uttanasana, forward fold. And just sensing that spread. It begins in the bottoms of our feet and up the backs of our calves, our Achilles. If you want to go a little deeper, you can place your hands slightly forward of your feet, bending one leg at a time. And just envision that nice length through the plantar fascia into the Achilles, the calves, the hamstrings. And then take your feet just slightly wider, heels wider than toes. Bend the knees one more time. And then slowly we'll make our way up to stand. Rising up, reaching up, gentle length for the front body again. Gentle opening. And then hands, heart center. Stepping the feet underneath the pelvis. Tadasana. Just meditating on the stack of our bones, our balance. And then we'll breathe in again, gently opening the front body, lifting gaze. Bend the knees, exhale, fold. Walking ourselves forward to the top of our plank. We'll hold steady here just for a few moments. You can always drop your knees. We want to warm and heat and activate the stomach pathway here. Try to scoop your pelvis under your ribs a little so you feel that heat coming into your center. Three more breaths. And then we'll exhale, knees, chest, chin, landing on our heart. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, back, downward dog. And guide our left foot forward and up, low lunge. So thinking about the essence of these pathways, the support of stomach, yang, and then spleen, the inner legs working toward each other, and spleen connective tissue also traveling up through the side ribs here, under the armpits. You can cradle your low back for support as you lunge deeper. You can press down into the top of your right foot, adding some connection with liver 3.
And then we'll inhale our right arm up. Just take a gentle side bend over to the left. 5 breaths into our liver. And change, pressing back. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Keep the elbows in tight. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Deep breaths. Really meditate on your tongue. Keep your jaw soft. Keep your gaze steady and relaxed. Engaging the quadriceps, pressing the chest back. Inhale, lift gaze to hands. Exhale, right foot forward, low lunge. Think about too the supportive foundation. Make sure the front foot and the back knee are wide enough so that we can really start to sink down into the pelvis. You can hold some spleen points here in the side ribs. You can support your low back. Deep breaths into the diaphragm. And then once you're steady, so you found your balance, inhale, left arm up. And a gentle reach over to the right. Squeezing the back of our left leg to go deeper. Keeping our gaze soft and steady. 5 breaths. You can even bring your right hand to your diaphragm. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Breathing to affect our organs, to affect their pathway. We'll release. Inhale, down dog. And exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. And back to our down dog. Just try to let the head hang heavy. And relax the back of the skull. No tension in the jaw. Just that free, spacious breath lifting through our abdomen.
as we lengthen the whole body here, spreading, opening, reaching. Now we'll walk our hands back to our feet, bringing our toes together, keeping a little space in our heels, lifting up into Utkatasana to warm and activate the stomach pathway again. So from the lower eyes, down the front body into the quadriceps and the second toe. Sit back in the heels. You can reach your arms up or you can keep them heart center. 5 breaths here. Squeeze, feel the warmth. And release. Forward fold, compression through the front body. Try to pull your chin into your chest. Lift your tailbone higher. And then release. We'll hold plank one more time. 5 breaths. And release. Knees, chest, chin. Cobra. And downward dog. Let's inhale and lengthen our left leg high now. Following the stomach pathway. Try to lengthen out from the lower eyes to the second toe. Reach. Look to the hands. And then exhale so we compress as we pull our left leg in. We're exhaling. Low lunge. Now this time, we'll add our twist. So we'll work into our liver. Inhaling our right arm up, and then exhaling, bringing our elbow or the back of our shoulder, if possible, to the outside of our left knee. We can guide our left hand to our low back. Our right palm can come to the floor or a block. We can press the hands together at the heart. Pay attention to what's happening in the neck and the jaw here. As our breath is dropping into our right side, and if you want to bind around your left leg, you can feel that. The breath dropping into the right side. Try to keep the gaze somewhere steady, or we can meditate on the gallbladder channel too, the side body,
the jaw, the neck. And try to keep pulling your energy back into your center. You can feel that strength. And then any other variations, you can lift your back leg. If you want to go deeper, strengthening the quadriceps, the stomach pathway. And then as we release, we'll come inside of our left foot for our lizard. Dropping down, maybe forehead down, or forearms down to the mat. And we could be thinking back into the yin pathways, the spleen, kidney, and liver in the inner groin there. So you can always drop into the outer edge of your left foot. Go a little deeper. And then we'll connect through a low plank. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward dog. 5 breaths. Try to lengthen and deepen your diaphragmatic breath, observing your body. As you're ready, other side, right leg high, pelvis level. You can look to your hands, or you can drop your chin into your chest. Imagine lengthening from your lower eyes to your second toe. And then look to the hands, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, compression, again squeezing. We'll land low lunge. Guiding the pelvis a little deeper. Finding a little more space as we prepare for our twist. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, elbow or shoulder to the knee. Picking your variations, you can keep pressing the palms together, lifting the gaze up. You can open your arms up, bringing a little more awareness of the pericardium line there, the heart line, and then maybe start to work on your bind so you can really start to sense how the breath drops into the left side. And remember, that's always our goal. Smooth, even breathing to affect the organs and their pathways. And then go ahead and explore wherever you want to take this. Otherwise, just keep meditating on each breath. Keeping the gaze steady. And we can release. Lizard. Try to come down. Feeling into the groin. Opening up into the liver. And then we can lengthen back, low plank. To the mat. Cobra. And downward dog. And continue to observe. What can we soften? Where can we stay connected and balanced? Keeping our tongue relaxed in our mouth, our gaze serene. We'll do one more expression in our low lunge, in our Anjaneyasana. So bringing left foot forward, we'll come into a deeper expression of a back bend to work on lengthening stomach pathway. So coming into it, we've been here a couple times, so maybe fingertips can reach for the floor or some blocks here, so you have something to press and ground down into. Actually show you with blocks. So your blocks can be here, pressing, grounding, or they can come down a little lower and back. You can externally rotate your arms, bring a little more strength into the triple heater, or your hands can come to your low back, which is start to take your gaze up. When you come back up, bring your head up last. And then we'll move back into our half or full splits now. So when we practice Hanumanasana with an awareness of the quadriceps strength, this is where we can really start to understand the harmony that's happening between stomach and spleen. So the spleen is the muscular integrity of the entire body. The spleen is like the tensile strength and integrity of our muscles. So when spleen chi is weakened, all of the muscle becomes kind of flaccid and weak in the body. And the quadriceps, one of the largest muscle groups we have here to work into with Hanumanasana, in half splits
So with the back leg bent, we're just working to squeeze the quadriceps, strengthen the quadriceps, and then remember the stomach pathway into the second toe here. So you can pull the toes back toward you, keeping your legs strong. You might be able to feel, some connective tissue spreading off of the tibia. So this pathway, stomach pathway, traveling up the tibia. So that's an interesting sensation. And then since we already have our blocks, we could also work with blocks in half splits, working on walking our right knee back. So that someday, as we lower the blocks and we drop ourselves deeper, we could sit a block underneath our front leg. And keep these back toes tucked so the pelvis stays level. And squeeze the left quadriceps and squeeze the right hamstrings. So keep support. And then over time, the connective tissue softens and we can go a little deeper. We could even add our stomach stretch there, the little heart opening. Some of you might like to reach back for the back leg. You can find an expression. It helps lengthen the quadriceps. And try to stay wherever you are, in half or full. Stay and really strengthen the quadriceps. When you're done, come back into your lizard, and then we'll take this into stargazer. So spinning onto our right shin, reaching our left leg back, and then we just find some nice space in through the spleen, the side ribs. And release. You can come through a flow, elbows in tight, knees, chest, chin, cobra, and downward dog. Remember, just meditating on the sides here, left to right, equally strong through the hands. Press, press, press. Head is relaxed. Focusing on our breath. And right leg forward, low lunge. Finding our expression of stomach pathway opening, lifting, deepening. We can bring our blocks back. Think about the spleen in the inner landscape of our legs. And let's
kind of like a little net. It's going to hold everything together. And we can strengthen that net by kind of squeezing the inner legs toward each other. Keep the tongue soft and center. And coming up, head comes up last. You can take a moment, neutral spine, and then come back. Hanumanasana. Even working Ardha Hanumanasana is great, getting that beautiful length in the back of the leg, the Achilles, the bladder pathway, which is so important to open up circulation into our feet. So you can work acupressure anywhere, these little taps on the back of the calf if you feel like your hamstrings are really tight, if that's what's preventing you from going deeper. Use the blocks, work with the blocks. You can come into varying expressions of low lunge and then half splits to work deeper. We always want to have the blessing of our nervous system. We just want to work to calm, really feel like we have permission from our body to go deeper. And it just happens naturally, as we hold a certain posture long enough, the connective tissue spreads first and then the muscle relaxes. But connective tissue is very reactive for a reason. It keeps us safe if we were to take a fall or something. It reacts and kind of holds things in place so that we don't get torn up, we don't get injured. So just bear that in mind, that if one side is different or it takes a little longer, it's always worth just being compassionate and patient versus trying to force something. And you can find any expression of opening here for the front body, or for the inner yin pathways if your groin is tight. Let's try to keep strengthening the quadriceps.
meet up in our lizard one more time. Coming through just a little extra release, and we'll step back, downward dog, and we'll drop our knees into our child's pose, pressing into liver 3 in between our first and second toes, and just grounding down. Now we'll come into camel pose. So this is the ultimate front body opener, so healing for the stomach pathway and boosting that connection to our earth element. And the primary setback that many of us will face in Ustrasana is, well, really two things. One would be any fear of hurting the low back, so pinching the low back, and I'll show you a great entry that helps relieve any pressure in the lumbar spine. The other common hesitation is to let the head drop back, and that's really because of any tension that we might be carrying in the sternocleidomastoid, which is again this ropey muscle that travels from our clavicle to the base of our skull. So acupressure on stomach 9 in the sternocleidomastoid, we can just find some massage, and don't be afraid to touch this muscle here. Yes, there are some major arteries and there's a lot of sensitivity that we have in our throat. It's a very vulnerable region. The carotid artery and stuff like that. You'll know if you're pinching an artery. Like it's really, you'd have to kind of go back and in and pinch it. And this is just a very surface layer muscle that we can easily find. And if you're ever unsure, you kind of stick your neck out. You can feel it. You can feel, you can see where it bulges out. Another easy way to find it is just to grab into the side of your neck, below your ears. I'm just kind of checking on any tension in there. And you don't have to hold very intense pressure on it either. Just enough to kind of smooth it out. And then if we wanted to go in with some deeper acupressure for the SCM, we follow it down where it attaches to our clavicles, and then we can find our fingers just gently pressing in and behind our clavicle. So we're not going straight back. It's a very soft little cocoon in, like you're just gently cupping your collarbones, and you can set your chin on your hands and breathe in. So stomach energy likes to flow down. That's the energy of stomach, of the vayu.
It's the energy that's coming down, elimination. Digestion and elimination is a downward movement. If, however, the liver is really stagnant, we might get acid reflux. We might start to get a stomach that gets kind of backed up. We might start to experience, a lot of tension in the throat and in the SCM. So if you like to imagine just kind of sending the energy down, back down as you do this. It's also just very relaxing for the throat and the neck and the jaw. It just feels really like supportive and loving. All right, let's come into it. First set is just an opening set, a warm-up set. We'll get the structure down. We'll figure out how to hold it so that we feel steady. But back to the low back here. So setting up, knees are under our pelvis. We're stacking up on our shins. Our toes are tucked. We're going to bring our hands to the back of our sacrum and just gently press our pelvis forward. This is step one. Step two would be to gradually arc the spine back as you continue to press your pelvis forward. So engage your glutes, engage your hamstrings, and then maybe one hand at a time, you can reach back for your ankles or your heels, and then press your pelvis forward, squeeze your glutes. Lengthen your front body. See if you can do 10 breaths. And then remember, bring your spine up first and then your head. So you're not trying to crank your neck up first and then just receive. Full deep breaths. We could even imagine how nourishing this posture is for our lymphatic system, the brachial plexus, for everything that's traveling through the sensitive and delicate head and neck area. And we're just lengthening everything out on the front body. It can also be helpful if you ever notice you have pain in your knees or around your joints because the liver is affecting the tendons and the fascia. When we boost spleen and we work with this burner pattern, it really has a positive effect on the joints by way of our fascia, our connective tissue being more supple. So you could imagine that, especially in camel when there's some nice acupressure happening between the knee capsules and the floor. So our second set, again, we'll come into it, supported. Now in this set, some of you might like to untuck your toes and press into the tops of your feet. You can work a little bit more connection, squeezing the tops of your feet into the mat and meditating on the stomach pathway. The same entry, press the hips forward. Now as we go a little deeper in second set, we could try to soften our digestive tract, our throat, our tongue. See if you can do 10 more breaths. Full and deep. Come back with support, stacking, steadying, and receiving. We could also start to become aware of how Ustrasana helps us self-correct any posture issues we have because of holding our shoulders forward and rounding the spine forward. Ustrasana really brings the chest into a brighter position, which is very healing for the skeleton. And then if the skeleton, our foundation, is more aligned, then our breathing is naturally supported and encouraged, because we're not trying to work against collapse. Like everything is open.